Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Cage Show, and today we have to talk about David Jaffe because, well, David Jaffe, this guy is he's definitely something else, and just up front, still didn't gain back the weight that David Jaffe seems to be, praying every night that I do because I would make him happy apparently because yeah, about that. But yeah, I remember when I made a video talking about essentially David Jaffe being a see you next Tuesday because, well, he literally spews out baby vomit dribble from his mouth and it never seems to end. He kind of just does this thing on Twitter all the time where he says something so asinine just to draw attention to himself, and to be honest with you, I don't mind giving it to him because I mean, it's great content for me cuz it's like I know that a good amount of my viewers like watching me dunk on David Jaffe, and I enjoy dunking on David Jaffe because he's an absolute clown, one of the most ignorant, narcissistic people in the gaming community. He does, and what is particularly gross about this individual is that he basically, he pretends to be like a YouTuber and whatnot that has validity, which obviously he doesn't. And it's like he tries to pretend like he's one of us when it's like, nah, you're not. Get out of here. You're not. So yeah, David Jaffe did a thing, and we're just gonna, laugh at him. But he said, and this is in regards to Forspoken, because Forspoken is the drama that just doesn't end because people just want to make something about Forspoken that it's clearly not. They want to make it a race issue, and it's clearly not a race issue in regards to this game. David Jaffe says, I'm inches from pulling the trigger on Forspoken at $70. So, he tweeted this early, and early yesterday, and he still has not decided if he's gonna buy the game or not. I mean, like, bro, don't be a coward. At least take a stand, you fence sitting weirdo. Uh, I have very limited means, but I'm getting Hogwarts Legacy. I've said it. I'm day oneing it. It is going to happen, and it really does feel like David Jaffe is really trying to essentially do the same thing with Forspoken that gamers are doing for Hogwarts Legacy, but it's literally for the opposite reasons. But let's continue, and I'll get into that shortly. He also says, part of it is the good stuff I'm hearing from people who are playing it, and the fact I did enjoy the demo. The other part is I want to buy it to spite the assholes who clearly don't like women, black people, or PlayStation. Now, honestly, there's so many reasons that gamers take issue with Forspoken. I mean, the game is very visually unpleasing. The Luminous engine has clearly Luminous team clearly doesn't have the skills needed in order to actually, make a successful AAA title. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 was in development hell for a very long time because unfortunately they just couldn't get it done. And this game is showing that they probably aren't, they're probably a B tier development team at best. They've taken on um a pretty big project in Forspoken. Obviously, the game aims to be great. Unfortunately, you know, all the things that we see, clearly it falls short heavily in some areas. The game's performance is atrocious, especially on PC. I was watching my homie struggle games play the game, and it was choppy as heck, man. I was like, bro, I hope you're enjoying this because from what I'm seeing, man, it looks rough. And he's like, yeah, like there, some of these parts I'm enjoying, but man, it's so frustrating the game because particularly how it's playing, and that's unacceptable, man. This is a $70 game that we're talking about here. It's not like a $20 indie game by any means. This is a full priced so-called AAA title, and Square Enix completely fumbled the bag on this one, man. It just plays horribly. It doesn't look very good. It looks very dated by modern standards. The dialogue is very questionable. Some of it, it seems to vary from person to person. Some deem it cringe, some deem it CW level writing. Some people like CW level writing. My homegirl, Ashton Luca, said that, yeah, I actually like the CW DC shows back in the day. And this is kind of something I kind of jive with. And it's like, yo, more power to you. I mean, that's really subjective. To me, it comes off as cringe. To the Ash and Luca, shout out to Luca. I will definitely link her channel below. She's an awesome YouTuber. Absolutely love her. And but yeah, like, some people, I think it's fair either way. I'm not gonna sit here and make fun of someone for in being okay with the dialogue, laughing at some of it, enjoying it for what it is. That's completely fine. But to some people, it does come off cringe. To me personally, I think it's genuinely cringe. And there's just so many issues in this game, and the narrative that's being said about the detractors of the game is that, oh well, they just hate it because racism. And it's like, this is not really, we're not seeing this online. We just aren't seeing it. And this tweet, man, David got wrecked. Noam Blum here says, puts literal dog shit in his mouth and chews it, referring to David Jaffe in terms of the garbage that he said. And it's like, quote unquote, take that Gamergate, because that's really like the type of person that David Jaffe is. He's like, an anti-Gamergate loser in that regard. And and my homie Glorious Kev here says, wait, we're a-holes for not preferring PlayStation, because apparently, the console war thing is to David Jaffe, it seems to be as important as sexism and racism, apparently. Yeah, I don't understand that, but hey. And my boy, I'm gonna totally butcher your name, bro. I'm gonna say Osseous. I'm hoping I got it correct. All love, fam. But he said, it's your dollar, good sir. However, I would argue that the game itself doesn't like women, black people, and PlayStation. I mean, WTF is this? It's a fantasy game released in 2023, yet our black female lead is a hoodlum with a criminal record? Yeah, like, that kind of stuff, it's not really, like, it's not really a good, way to put a good situation to put your lead in. Like, honestly, when it comes to a lead, character, I don't necessarily, and Ziggy just turned off the light on me. Thanks a lot, Ziglord. But personally, to me, I don't care what race or gender they are. I just want them to be cool. I want someone that I could say, damn, I enjoy being this character, especially if I have to stare at them for like, 10, 15, 20 hours, like, or more. I really just want to make someone that I think is visually appealing in some way, shape, or form. If it be I find them to be attractive, or if it be, I think that they're genuinely cool. They have an awesome design. They wear really sick clothes. Like, I need my character to be cool, and preferably to not say cringe dialogue that you couldn't pay me to repeat, Like, I want this to be a representation of what I think is genuinely cool, unique, different, fun, all that stuff. So, Osseous here brings up a really good point. Like, how can you defend this stuff? And Damien's Ghost here says, man, you're reading right from the playbook. It's sad. Yeah, I agree. And Kyle here says, if you want to support a half-assed game just because it's PlayStation, by all means. Yeah, that's literally what this dude is doing. And he goes on to say, to be clear, the tropes about black folks in Forspoken are shit. You have to address that because it's like indefensible. This is why he's continuing to be a fence-sitting loser. Take a stand, okay? Don't just act like a fucking loser on Twitter, a edgelord on Twitter. You're a fence-sitting goon. And he says, they were called out over a year ago, and Square did nothing, which was their right, of course. but I'm talking about the players who are being dicks for no clear reason. I assume it's racism, console war, and misogyny. Ah, David, man. David. So basically, by this, unless you're, in this situation, you apparently by what he's saying, anybody who criticizes this and isn't a woman and isn't black, you know, apparently you could instantly fall into this. You can't criticize it because at any point you could just say anybody who criticizes this and doesn't fall into these categories upon race and gender is, racist, sexist, all that. And this is like asinine. The fact that we actually have to go here with this game. We can't and it's like David should be ashamed of himself because he is a developer. You can't genuinely look at this game and say, "Yeah, this game is extremely unpolished. There's clearly things wrong here." No, he has to be the clown that he is. He can't be professional in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't do that. And look, I'm not professional either by any means, but like you actually do have qualifications in the gaming industry in regards to game development. You can't be honest and say, yeah, there's something wrong here. You just have to automatically go to it's racism, it's sexism. Like it's stuff like this that's genuinely aggravating. And apparently, David Jaffe, when he puts out these asinine comments, they don't really hold up because they're really like extreme, and he deliberately loves to take jabs on Twitter. That's like the type of clown that he is. And the thing is, it's like if you put the bait out there and the bait is taken, like David's the type of dude to pretend that nothing was bad and he never did anything bad to begin with. He didn't deliberately take a jab. He's just that kind of clown. He doesn't own up to the things that he says. At least own up to it. He does nothing but fence it. He's just gonna go and defend this dumb crap that he's actually, spewing on Twitter. And David got really angry because my dudes here, and mind you, bounding into comics, I will put the link to this article in the description if you want to check it out. David's mad that Spencer from Bounding wrote an article on these asinine tweets that that he spewed on Twitter, and David doesn't believe that he's subject to criticism. So he literally went at Bounding. It's hilarious, guys. This guy is such a clown. But he said, "Hey, Bounding into comics, if you gave a shit about journalism and ethics, you would be ashamed of yourself. I never said that." and mind you, let's read Bounding's article. He said, original God of War director David Scott Jaffe says a widespread panning of Forspoken driven by a-holes who clearly don't like women, people, or PlayStation. And like I said, by what classifies you as potentially falling into this category, anybody who isn't a female or isn't black can fall into this because it's a slippery slope situation that David made the situation become. But he said, "Hey, bounding into comics, if you give a shit about journalism and ethics, you would be ashamed of yourself. I never said that. Did I say and imply that some of the criticism of the game is built on racism, misogyny, and console wars? Yep. To say it was driven by them and the main group majority of people who are panning the game, though, please provide cite and evidence. Or at least please hire an editor who at least worked on the high school newspaper website so they can introduce you to the basics of your job. Thanks." Oh, and that is amazing. I refuse to believe that the wide dislike of Forspoken is based on anything but bigotry. Goodness, you just fucking lie and don't care. Well, whatever. Hoping at least a few of your readers recognize your tactics and walk away from your product later. And it's just like, bro, It's just David just doesn't like to own up to his own shit. Everything is everyone else's fault. You got this heat because you chose to make bait. And given your name is well known enough in gaming to warrant articles being made about you when you make asinine comments such as these. It's really that simple. And Spencer personally came out and made a video literally showing like what was said and the fact that, yeah, you literally did say this. Don't try and rationalize your irrational statements. And I will also link Spencer's rebuttal in the description below. But this is the kind of dude David Jaffe is. Look, Forspoken, I hope the people that have it, are getting something out of it. I know that you may have to make compromises, but hey, if you make those compromises and you still have a good time with the game, there's no hate towards you. I'm glad that you're, finding something to like about a game you spent $70 on. At the end of the day, I'm a gamer just like you guys, and I want my friends, my fellow gamers to enjoy the games that they choose to spend their money on. I'm not trying to dump on you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that there's problems with the game, and people that voice these problems shouldn't be in fear of being called some form of bigot or another. But unfortunately, David likes to play the whole, istphobe game to, his to his just for himself, really. And it's like, bro, you're a straight white male. Shut the fuck up. If you want to live by your own, thoughts, ideology, just stop talking, dude. And I don't normally get like that, but you have to hold these types of people to their own standards. That's all I'm doing here, David. So stop being a clown. Obviously, at the end of the day, stirring controversy, David just uses that to his advantage. And to race bait, he's completely willing to do that, all for the sake of making some of his own money. Now, he does live streams and all that, trying to pretend that what he said wasn't ridiculous, but at the end of the day, it was. And, I want to bring people together, not to tear them apart. And I want to have honest conversations. David Jaffe race baits for the sake of filling his own wallet. And it is what it is, I guess, but we can call him out on it, and he deserves it. So, yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this clown, this Forspoken controversy. It's okay to like Forspoken if you like it. It's completely fine. It's also completely fine to criticize Square Enix for releasing the unpolished product that they chose to release. This is completely unacceptable of a $70 game for it to play the way that it does. I don't want this to become the norm when it comes to AAA gaming. And it, unfortunately, right now, I feel like as though it is the norm. We're going to continue to get broken, unpolished, de novo anti-cheat games that run like dog shit, look like dog shit, play like dog shit. It's either one of those, man, or all of those at once, and that's a shame. Why is the gaming industry choosing to have these standards or lack thereof of standards? Is because a lot of us do come to accept the decline of quality in this space, in this entertainment medium, and I just don't want that to be the norm. If Forspoken was a game that played really well on both the PS5 and and on PC, looked good, played good, the game is fun, it may not be my cup of tea or your cup of tea, but like it would seem as though the game relatively performs well, then hey, that's cool. Like, I don't think it would get nearly as much criticism as it has been getting, because at least the game plays pretty well. And that's the problem. We can't even have the base standard met of a game that runs and plays well and looks good. Like that, for a $70 AAA game, you don't even get that. So yeah, guys, that's how I feel about this. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitch or Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. And guys, with all that being said, I'm out. Peace.